we'll just tell you that half survive and you'll believe it.
Right.
Okay,
and
thanks.
half is somehow, like, way more than we've ever had.
Yeah.
But then Danny torching the scorpions on the walls, that kind of worked for me too, because from what I saw, it looked like she came from behind. Because she came and got, like, the Navy first.
I mean, they're all in a row.
Into the city, but, like, they're all in a row facing outwards, because that's where they think she's going to come from, and I think she flew behind them and hits them.
And those things look really fucking heavy, so, like, how long do you think it takes to whip one of those around?
Right, exactly. So that one didn't bother me, like, at all. Again, people on the internet complaining, it's fine. I do love, like, Cersei standing up in the window, much like she was in Winds of Winter, as she blows up the Sept, and now she's, like, on the other side of a terrorist act, you know?
Yeah. I love the meme, which is absolutely 100% true in Cersei's case, where, like, everything's burning around her, and she's like, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
It's literally what's happening to her, and she's still drinking wine, like, this could work out. Like, no.
That meme's always used as a metaphor. In this case, it's a literal description of what's happening.
No kidding. That's hilarious. And then the surrender is so quick, you know, and...
didn't really work, guys.
No, and they throw down their swords, which, like, Cersei's people abandoning her is no shock because they don't care for her. Plus, she has no real rightful claim to the throne in the first place. There was, like, a throwback quote whenever Varys talks about the bells, like, I hate the bells, they ring for horror. You know, it's always, like, deaths of kings and all of these things, like, attackers, you know, if you think back to the Battle of Blackwater Bay, like, that's when bells ring, so it's never a good thing, and now it's a dragon on your doorstep, so that is very true.
That bell tolls, yeah.
And, it becomes even more true when the moment she decides to just torch it. We talked about that look on her face, but it was really good. Like, just, you know, a Targaryen alone in the world. Is she flying up there? And she's just like, no, I don't think so. And that's where we get Bran's vision coming true of a dragon flying over King's Landing, and not to liberate it, but to torture it. I sent you and SJ that really great tweet I saw that I liked. It was just like, some of you have never been colonized by Europeans promising liberation, and it shows. It's like, this is not an unfound thing in history of someone saying I'm going to help you, and really I'm just going to burn you, literally or figuratively. And yeah, I like the narrative of this in that, like, we talked about the, like, potential misogyny, but there's another narrative that there's no good guys in a war. This does not work out for the poor or, like, little people ever. Like, there's never been, like, a war that was good for them for the most part. You know, even when you have good intentions, like, people are going to get hurt. And, like... Yeah,
like, war brings out the worst in people.
Absolutely.
So, like,
and whenever you can act with impunity for the most part when you're doing, you know, whatever.
And, like, you keep, you know, bringing up the, history shows. Like, history does show this, too. You know, that ambiguity that, like, soldiers even have. Like, what they're going through is super traumatic. And, like, some folks get pushed to the utmost limit and, like, do things they would never do, you know, like, whenever they're back home or whatever. And, like, that's what you see here, you know, as the shit's unfolding. And, you know, for all of Game of Thrones, like,
I think that, like, desperation of being in that situation, for me, I have never served or done anything like that, is just, like, really unimaginable, like, constantly having your life threatened, and then, being able to act with impunity in some cases, it's just...
And, like, even whenever you have the noblest intentions, like, World War II, like, the atrocities that happen in, you know, the Pacific, like, you know, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
War's insane.
And they do a really good job of kind of flipping, like, who you're supposed to sympathize with on its head. You see, like, the Lannister soldiers kind of trying to help people or surrendering or being really vulnerable. And that's who you're really supposed to hate. And then you see Jon's soldier, a Northman, trying to rape a woman, and John has to stop him.
And kills him, yeah.
And he tries to kill John.
Yeah.
You know, which is crazy. That's his leader, and he attempted to kill him over this. So you see, like, there's so much chaos, and, like, no one is just good. No one is whatever. And also, like, Grey Worm killing the unarmed soldiers was, like, a moment of, like, damn.
Yeah, you're definitely, like, Grey Worm's jumped off the deep end with Danny.
Yeah, there's, like, the ethics are getting very blurred of, like, who you want to root for, and really you just are kind of end up rooting for the common people. We also have that battle with Jaime and Euron.
So there's some discussion in our little Game of Thrones groups, where, you know, like, some people are like, why does Euron the one, you know, that fights this, and why does Jaime kill Euron, and that whole discussion, I'm like, I don't care. I'm just glad Euron's dead. I'm tired of seeing his stupid face. He's delusional in life. He's delusional in death. Like, he keeps calling himself the king, and, like, his, like,
Disney
final
pirate.
release too, where he's like, I was the one who killed Jaime Lannister. Like, you know, it's
well,
like,
no, you didn't.
super
The
proud.
Rock did.
Yeah, like, ego blown up, and I'm just like, just somebody shut you up. I don't care who it is.
Oh my god. I know. Well, he did kind of come out of nowhere, but it's, I guess, also where you would wash up if you survived all of that. I don't. I unpopular opinion, kind of really liked it. And, like, if it wasn't going to be Theon or Yara, Jaime was my next pick to kill Euron, like, who I think deserves to the most.
Yeah, Euron's
like,
been, like, poking fun at him
oh
since
my
he ever,
god.
like, met him, you know,
and you
so.
can tell Jaime just can't fucking stand him.
Yeah.
And neither can I, so good job, Jaime. So... that was, like, a character that was, again, I do have criticism for the writers, and that one, it's just all of our other villains have had motive, even if it's, like, you're just a psychopath, like Ramsay, but we saw, like, what he wants. He wanted to be a Bolton. He wanted to be legitimized. So, like, even if you're, like, a complete psychopath who loves torturing and killing people, he still was a character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got, like, what Joffrey's, like, entitlement and brattiness, like, led to. Euron was just such a caricature. I think he's one of the worst written characters.
Yeah, it just felt real hollow.
Yeah, it was so shallow. I just wanted it to be over, and thank God it is. And I don't want him in the finale. He doesn't deserve to be there. So, get out. Anyway, yeah. Good riddance. Not rest in peace, just GTFO. And kind of now, like, you got Dany just burning up the Red Keep. And, you know, it was just like, I think I put in our group chat, like, she's not breaking the wheel. She's burning it. A little bit different.
Doesn't quite exist, though.
And that's when, like, Cersei finally has to retreat. And you can see her starting to look much more worried to Maegor's holdfast, and, you know, you might remember the last time she was there is when she was ready to poison baby Tommen, first actor Tommen, and herself, because she was not going to let Stannis, like, come for them. Mm-hmm. And there's a moment, one of my favorite songs of the series, Reigns of Castamere, is playing, but it's, like, darker version of Reigns of Castamere, and usually that's, like, when the Lannisters are winning, that's when they kill the Starks, that's, like, their song of power, and it's being played as, like, the building is literally crumbling around her, and so it's kind of like a karmic thing. Their song choices are so good.
I know, I love that. And I don't have the name of the composer, the music guy that does for this.
He's amazing.
But I love the way he, like, weaves in
past songs. You had a little bit of that Winds of Winter song, which I'm obsessed with. Is that the one
with when the sept's burning down? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, like, that kept playing, like, but, you know, it's not quite recognizable. Mm-hmm. And, like, I remember turning at, like, my viewing that I was, is that this song, you know? And somebody was like, I don't know, you know? And I was like...
It was. It was just like, oh,
yeah, it comes stronger through later. And I was like, that was so good. Like, and it, like, brings you back to that, like, moment in time in the past episodes.
A song that has played for her past triumphs being, like, turned against her. Just, like her using fire is being turned against her. It's just so perfect, like, coming full circle. And
I hope that guy wins awards for what he does.
Oh my God.
He deserves all of them.
Yeah, Winds of Winter is one of my favorite episodes of all time, and part of it was because the music and that build up in the first 10 minutes is so good. And as she's leaving, you do see, like, some wildfire, speaking of Winds of Winter, like, green mushroom clouds going up. So I don't know if she had, like, some traps set for the soldiers if they came in, or if she was just gonna take out the city herself, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I guess, like, in my head, I was just like, maybe those are, like, stores for whenever you needed them. I don't know, but... it was like a nice, like, touch to kind of remind you of, like, her
who
former
she is.
destruction.
Yeah, no, it was so perfectly, like, kind of being turned inward. And also, like, Dani setting off those is kind of a good throwback to her father and what he planned to do.
Raymond Djawadi, I'm probably butchering his name, but you were amazing, my friend. That's the composer. I don't know, but he's fantastic. I had to, like, look him up and find him, because I'm going to go find all of his music now, I think.
I know. Those songs are all on Spotify, and it's so good.
Yes.
That moment, one of my favorites with Arya and the Hound, also their last moment.
Okay, let's talk about this. This was one of my favorite moments in the entire episode.
Oh my God. I love their relationship. I was glad they went back down there together, and them kind of running into the Sept to be like, we got shit to do. But then he convinces her, like, hey, like, look at me. Do you want to be like me? I don't think so. And, like, he's already set his destiny. This has been all he's ever wanted, is just to get revenge.
Whole life.
And he admits, like, this is not a good look. You know what I mean? Like, if we're being real, this is not what you want for yourself.
And
like,
it's sort of, if you let, like, revenge and vengeance run your life, that's the only thing that your life can be.
Such a good message. And, like, you know, she is young. A lot of terrible shit has happened to her, but she can do something else. There's
she can,
for her.
And she can get out of that, you know, that state of mind, that mentality, and, like, you know, have a fulfilling life. And, you know, he's kind of warning her against that. Like, the only thing you have in your life is death. Like, there's more to it than this.
And he doesn't want to see her die. He's been such an amazing, like, unexpected father figure for her. And this is, like, his final lesson of, like, just stop. Just let it go. And hey, too, like, she's going to die. Don't worry. Do you see what's happening? Like, she's dying. You need to go save yourself. And I love... She says, Sander, thank you at the end.
That moment when she says his name.
First time she's ever called him by his name, and sort of, like, legitimizing
and
who he is to her and who he is. And he's not the Hound. He's not some, like, you know, unlikable warrior who's just brutal.
Yeah, and other people have called him Sander in the show, but it's not frequently. Like, no, it's most of the time, like 9 out of 10 times, they call him the Hound, you know, and that's what he is. He's just a dog to them. And, like, giving voice to, like, his name is just, like, such a touching, so touching. I choked up a little bit.
Yeah, that, like, humanizing, I know, I loved that moment so much, because he really, no one has humanized him really hardly ever his whole life, and, like, that, having that right at the end was just like, oh.
Arya, Sansa,
and then fucking Clegane Bowl. Oh, this is, like, one of the few fan service things that we got that was just all payoff. I loved it. And, like, the stairwell, I was like, but, like, shit's blowing up outside.
Yeah, so
I was like, yes.
I did laugh a lot whenever the entire fucking tower came down around them, and then they just, like, get up. And they're like, towers can't take us down. And they're just, like, out in the open. I was like, that was great. But, you know, whatever. That's an amazing shot. And I'm here for it.
It was beautiful.
Let's see this happen.
I loved it. I was just like, yup, this is the most epic battle in the history of time. I don't care about the logistics.
Yeah,
like
I
beautiful.
don't care how any of that happens. It's this
I have to say, favorite death maybe of all time is just the mountain throwing Qyburn down. Like, shut the fuck up. I don't care.
All season, all series. Like that was kind of amazing.
You can't stop Clegane Bowl, and he just instantly dies. And it also, like, because Qyburn's who saved, quote unquote, like, created what the mountains become.
Yeah, he don't give no fucks.
So, you know, the Frankenstein being killed by his monster is just really perfect. And Cersei, I love all the
skirt.
Some of my favorite memes are just like, later, I'm just gonna leave. And Hound's like, yeah, you probably should. And again, you're gonna die anyway. Well, I don't give a fuck. And we get that reveal of his face and what he's been looking like under that helmet all this time. And ooh,
He actually looked a little bit more like a human than I thought he was going to be, because they just focus on his eyes in all of them, in all the sections, which are like just black and green and whatever, and like with his helmet on.
Yeah.
And then whenever he takes it off, I was just like, oh, you're gray everywhere else. I